Believe it or not, Morocco was not always Muslim. And even though the population of the country is 99% Sunni Muslim, history tells us that there's more to this place than just its majority religion. Islam came to this part of Africa during the Arab conquest in the 7th century. And the past just might be the key to understanding how the gospel is changing the lives not just of Christians, but all Moroccans today. So Morocco is located in the northwest corner of Africa, and it's bordered by the North Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, which means it's not just at the crossroads between Europe and Africa, but also between the ocean and the desert sands. And that's what we're gonna go check out right now. Does this landscape remind you of anything? How about now? In Dune, the people of Arrakis are called the Fremen, and many believe that the author of Dune was heavily influenced by the original inhabitants of this land, the Amasir, which means free men. For thousands of years before the Arabs arrived, it was the Amasirs who inhabited North Africa, and they still make up a large part of the population in Morocco today. But when the Arabs arrived, they didn't just bring their culture or a new people group with them. They brought and forced their religion. We're in Fez. It's an ancient city here in Morocco, and that right there is Al Qarawiyya, the oldest university in the world. And so you'd think if the oldest university in the world is Muslim, then Morocco must be a Muslim country from the beginning, right? Well, we actually have to look a little further back. Long before the Middle East and North Africa became known as the Muslim world, there was actually a Christian population right here in Morocco among the Amasids after the gospel came to the country around 2 AD when it was part of the Roman Empire. Before that, Jews had fled to Morocco in search of safety. And on top of that, the Amasid had their own polytheistic religion based on the Phoenician and Punic deities. As Christians settled in Morocco, Amasid communities witnessed their faith, and many became Christians in return. In particular, when Amasid slaves and farmers in rural areas of Morocco heard the gospel, they willingly and eagerly placed their faith in Jesus. Then a few centuries later, Muhammad grew a following and started building an empire, leading to the Arab conquests, which is when Muslim Arab armies from Saudi Arabia invaded countries in Central Asia and Africa, and they even reached Spain. During the conquest, Arabs took over land and peoples like Morocco of the Sasanian and Byzantine empires, who were already weakened and had their resources exhausted after decades of war with one another. The zeal for conquering neighboring lands had always been interwoven with Islam since the start. So in the early 8th century, the Amasirs actually joined the Arabs in their conquest to take over the Iberian Peninsula, expanding Islamic control into Europe. But this didn't go exactly the way they thought it would. The word Islam literally means submission to God, and the Amasids would quickly learn that Islam is a religion that forces its people to submit. As a result of the Arab conquest, many of the cultures and religions they conquered were wiped out, including that of the Amasids. Persecution followed, forcing the people to give up Christianity, Judaism, and any other religion and turn to Islam. Furthermore, identities shifted from Amasid and Moroccan to Muslim. By 1666, Morocco's identity as an Islamic nation became firmly established with the Alawi dynasty, and this Islamic monarchy still rules today. The Moroccan royal family is even said to be descended from the Prophet Muhammad himself. Even though some efforts to bring back the original cultures have been made, starting with small things like street signs not just being in Arabic, but also including the Amazigh language. Morocco is still closed off to Christianity. According to the constitution, Morocco is a sovereign Muslim state, making Islam the nation's official religion. There's no separation between religion and state here, which makes things difficult for anyone who isn't Muslim. The Moroccan Association for Religious Freedom committed to defending religious freedom through change in Moroccan legislation, and they were inhibited from registering by the Ministry of the Interior, claiming that the association prejudices Islam. The Ministry of the Interior also refused to register the Moroccan Christian, Shiite, and Ahmadi associations. And yet the Moroccan constitution grants everyone freedom of expression, thought, assembly, and the state guarantees every individual the freedom to practice their religion. So where does that leave Christians?
When I came to the Lord in the 90s, we were called by the police many times. We couldn't have big or small meetings. We were followed everywhere. The control is now, I think, worse than before because there's control via phone, cameras, and neighbors. They can put trackers in the car and follow you. Everything is controlled. But Morocco is very open compared to the other Islamic countries. Tourists can come, brothers and sisters can visit, but only as tourists, not as Christians. But this is not going to stop us. Many believers are freely sharing their faith and asking people not to follow what their grandparents or fathers were following. The hearts of people are changing, and we are praying for restoration.
As more pressure is coming, more people are asking questions. And the official religion here have been designed to don't do questions. You do not ask about the reasons of your faith. As it is, for example, in the Christian faith. Real Christianity opened the door for a kind of intimacy with the creator of all things that none other religious expression is able to offer.
This is a friend who has seen God's work firsthand in Morocco, and there are many signs that things for the church are finally starting to shift.
So that is becoming very effective for many. Maybe more Muslims have come to Christ during the last 30 or 40 years than during the previous 1,000 years.
Morocco has always been at a crossroads between Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Throughout history, we can see that Arab conquerors weren't the only ones to come to Morocco. During the Spanish Reconquista, Jewish and Muslim refugees fled here to escape persecution. In the 20th century, French and Spanish Christian immigrants came when France and Spain both established proctorates over Morocco. Morocco has been a melting pot of cultures and religions for centuries. Today, Morocco has close to 100,000 foreign citizens. It's home to immigrants, many who travel through Morocco through the Strait of Gibraltar, which connects the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, separating Africa and Europe by only about 8 miles of ocean between Morocco and Spain. And it's not just immigrants from other countries traveling through Morocco. About 900,000 Moroccans have emigrated to Spain, making the Moroccan community the largest group of immigrants in Spain. But it's not just a matter of changing the population. Immigration in Morocco is changing the church.
There's a growing impact. Everybody wants to live and have a chance because they are trying to cross the Mediterranean, looking out for new opportunities in Europe. And one of the consequences of the large number of immigrants is that sometimes you have some house churches in some place of this country, and sometimes a half of the congregation disappear. And that wasn't because persecution. So that might affect what's going on with the church. But even though you are going to find followers of the Messiah in this country, in every one of the most important cities of the nation, there's still a pretty well organized pressure coming from the authorities. As more pressure is coming, more people are asking questions. But even though the church is growing, silently, but growing.
This is one of the most well-known spots in Morocco. There are monkeys, henna tattoo artists, instruments. You can pretty much find everything in this vibrant and busy market that represents the beauty and culture of Morocco. But it's also known for something not so beautiful, a mosque that was never finished. During the late 16th century, Sultan Ahmad al-Mansur embarked on constructing a mosque here in the middle of this square, but was forced to abandon the project. It's called Jamal Efna, or the ruined mosque, and it kind of paints a picture of what Islam did here. You see, when we look back at the past few centuries, wherever Islam goes, it imposes its beliefs through coercion and sheer force. Submission through pressure and power is at the heart of Islamic teaching. And here, it's no different. Christianity and other religions have dwindled to a tiny minority. Now, that's not to say Christians have a perfect record or that we haven't done the exact same thing. Historically, the church has seen many cases where too often people traded peace for power and caused a world of pain for others, all in the name of Christ. But trying to build something by force will always lead to ruin. And anytime the church has enforced submission through power, they're not acting in line with Jesus' teaching, but sorely against it. And that's the beauty of the gospel. True Christianity doesn't oppress, it sets us free. It doesn't wipe out peoples or cultures or places. It enters into every culture and wipes out sin, welcoming all people who believe in Jesus to find new life in Him. We have good news to share. And while we do it, it serves us to remember that not everyone in the Middle East or North Africa is Arab, and they're not all Muslim. And what's more, not all Muslims are far from the gospel.